Hi everyone, hello, welcome to our mimoLive 5.8 keynote and Q&A. With me is, as always, Achim. He is in Leoben, Austria. I'm in
Hi there.
I'm in middle of Europe, and we are looking forward to showing you the latest and the greatest. And as always, we have Steffen monitoring the chats, and apologize for the slight delay. It wouldn't be the internet if everything worked all the time, and we had to quickly change the setup for the Facebook stuff here. So I hope I'm getting comments from Facebook. If we can test that, then I hope I can get some Facebook comments. Otherwise, I just have to change the setup a little bit, and here we go. So if you are watching through Facebook, please put in a comment, and I can see if it works. So far, no luck, but we might be able to do that later on. All right, so what's for today? Oh, I closed the wrong window. I hope you're still with me. So I'm moving that over here. Yes. So, thanks you everybody for joining. As always, we're taking questions in the chats and in the Facebook comments. And I hope I can finally figure out later on how to put up the Facebook comments. Last time the Facebook comments worked, this time the YouTube comments work. It's always something that needs to be fixed. All right. As always, we are using mimoLive 5.8 ourselves here, and I'm gonna give you a little more insight later on into that. And you can now download it. Download the latest release from our website. Have put the QR code in the video, and if you're watching, I hope Steffen will put the URL into the chats as well, so you can just click through to our website to get the latest version. And yeah, so I think that's about it. We're gonna do a rerun of this tomorrow morning in our time. It's now 6 p.m. in Europe, in our time zone, and we're doing another one tomorrow morning for the Eastern time zones. Steffen also put the times into the chats and also on our website, so you can figure out what's the best time for you. So there's going to be this is sort of like the pre-run, and the next tomorrow is the rerun, and yeah. We are recording this to both YouTube and Facebook, so you will be able to re-watch it later on. And yeah, so that's, I think, all about the everything about the housekeeping. And let's get started with the interesting stuff. mimoLive 5.8. Achim, are we excited? Yes, we are.
Oh, we are.
Yes. So mimoLive, the headline feature, the best feature of mimoLive 5.8, of course, is the new feature of having Mimo call be able to use mimoLive as a client, and we are actually doing this here. And I'm going to show a schematics drawing later on, but what can you use this for? So for example, you can now use mimoLive and Mimo call to tunnel all kinds of video through the internet. For example, in this case here, Achim has an NDI camera in Leoben, and I have his video through mimoLive and Mimo call on my computer, and I can use it in mimoLive just as an additional camera. You can also tunnel SDI. You can also tunnel more complex setups, more complex layouts. You can have a secondary team producing something offsite, and you can do a screen grab and do that, tunnel that, and switch between the screen grab and your video. And we're gonna do all of this in this live stream. I'm gonna bring up the schematics right now, how this is set up. So you see Achim is running his demos on mimoLive on a MacBook Pro, and which is connected to the DeckLink camera. And if I'm brave, I will. No, I'm not brave. I could add a laser pointer here to my screen. I forgot about that. Sorry. So it's connected to a Blackmagic Mini recorder, the MacBook Pro, so he can grab the screen of the computer in his iMac. He also has an NDI Ptc camera connected to the iMac via NDI over the network. Both of those video sources run into mimoLive and are transmitted to me via Mimo call to my Mac Mini, where I host the stream, which goes out from my Mac Mini to Facebook and YouTube, and I use the sources to switch between all of this. All right. So now Achim's going to give us a little demo of how this works. Achim, take over.
Sure. So let's see if we can connect to mimoLive instances and documents over the internet. So I'm starting mimoLive on one computer. Just imagine that we are at one place and have this computer here running mimoLive, and we want to receive a Mimo call from another computer. So I add a Mimo call here to this document, and I will get a Mimo call ID, which I need to share to the other machine. So in order to see what's happening, I'm creating a second document, but imagine this is on a different machine, on a different location, anywhere in the world. And we have another document here running on the other machine. And now I can add actually I want to have a camera as well. Makes more sense. And maybe we switch this camera off for now so we can get a better idea what's happening. So yeah, now we are on the second location, and on the second location I will add a Mimo call, and that's done by adding an output destination by the plus button here. You can find the Mimo call and drag it to your destination, output destination column. And what you need to connect both mimoLive documents, you need to share the Mimo call ID. So I grab the Mimo call ID from computer A. In my case, it's very easy. I just copy it and put it in, let's say, transferred by email, by WhatsApp, what have you, and put the link, the invitation link, just right here to the Mimo call ID, and hit enter. So now I can tell that the connection is established or at least it's set up for the connection by the green light here. And once I switch this on, the Mimo call will connect and send the data over, and I can see on computer A connected to partner, and here is the video signal. I can show it right here. So to prove that we are running the video actually, and that's one of the neat things I can use on my computer B. I can use mimoLive as I expected. I can add a lower third, and this lower third will be transferred to my computer A via Mimo call as well. So because the complete program out from my second computer will be transferred, of course, to the computer A. And let's make things a bit interesting, more interesting. Let's use the Mimo call in a picture-in-picture window layer, so we can see what's happening. Switch this off, and now you can see this is my program out coming from the second computer. If I switch my lower third, it will of course be inside the picture because everything is baked into one video stream and will be transferred. And the user on the second computer, which sends actually the Mimo call, has some buttons here. The first one is show host. This will give you a window of the video that is produced on the computer A. So I can see the program out of the final mixing. So, and also I can hear the output of the audio. If I need to, I can mute the audio, or actually I can also mute the audio directly from the output destination here. So in some particular cases, it might be helpful to switch off the audio completely. And in case the connection doesn't work correctly because internet, you can reconnect to host from both sides, either from the Mimo call output destination on computer B, or of course from the computer A, depending on who is in charge. Yes, that's for how connect to mimoLive instances over the internet via Mimo call. So Oliver, I can't hear you right now.
Ah, okay. So yeah, I have to turn on myself again. Unmute. The modern technology. So yeah, I think it's important to emphasize that you of course can have multiple Mimo call connections at the same time. So you can have multiple remote sites and play the video into one central location, which is very helpful at these times where you have to socially distance and keep apart, and have the team work together and produce something together from remote destinations. All right, I think I want, before we answer some questions, I think I want to come back to why we don't have any Facebook comments working. And this is because we are, for the first time, using the Facebook event streams, which are new, which also will allow you to charge for people watching your streams. And right now it seems as if they only work properly through the Rtmp setup. So I wasn't able to test that completely. I tested it with my own account before, and it seemed not to work with personal profiles. But the page, the event on our company page showed up, so I was hopeful that we could use just the that destination, but turns out this doesn't really work as well. So I had to use the Rtmp stream setup, and for some reason I can't access the comments on that. So we'll have to do some homework for 5.9 to figure out how to use the Facebook event streams, which are new, and maybe there's something special. And also it's entirely possible that the API for those isn't ready yet and doesn't work as expected, and just out of the blue next week it will work, or maybe even tomorrow morning when we try this again. All right, so let's do some questions, I guess. One question was, I saw in the Facebook stream, will we need 2 mimoLive licenses to do this, by James Brandt. Yes, you will need 2 mimoLive licenses, one for the person on this end and one for the other end, of course. The alternative is you use the Mimo call web client. If you just have to send a camera and an audio signal, that's entirely enough. If you want to do more advanced stuff, I think it's okay to have a second license. Kurt Garnem asks, fantastic, what kind of bandwidth management should we consider for the peer-to-peer connections? Thank you. So as you can see here, I'm getting a 1080p 30 signal from Achim, as I'm expecting. This is because we have enough bandwidth between our 2 sites. mimoLive is based on Mimo call is based on WebRTC, and that means it tries to find the correct or the working bandwidth setting by itself. It's trying to max out the connection, and but over time it checks the connection over time, and it always falls back to sort of like the lowest common denominator. So if your internet connection is fluctuating a lot, then the bandwidth it will turn down the bandwidth quite a bit. Matthew Dove, is there any improvement in Mimo call quality? I don't know if yeah, so we have a little more control over what WebRTC is doing when we talk to it from mimoLive, if compared to using a browser, and so I would say yes, it's possible that there's a little more quality, but mimoLive was always high quality, and Mimo call was always high quality to begin with. As you can see with Achim's video and also Achim's audio, now he has a proper camera. Last time they only had the crappy webcam, and audio is also something that's very the audio quality is very unique to mimoLive, because we've actually tweaked something inside WebRTC to enable stereo and hi-fi.
Yeah, to give some numbers, I'm currently streaming at 1080p with 30 frames per second, and that makes about an average 2.5 megabits per second. So
yeah, you can see that in your little window on your side, and monitor it from there. All right, let's look at some comments from the YouTube crowd. Gabriele, Losodo, very interesting new features. Well done, guys. Thank you very much. We love to hear that. All right, Paulo Sergio, we are using this feature. Our VTR operator is outside the studio and he can play the videos during the show In the beta version, we have some problems with audio quality, but this is an awesome feature. If you have audio quality problems or very specific problems, please turn to the forum, which is actually the best way to get technical support from us. The team hangs out there, and we're looking forward to conversation with you, and we'll take it from there to email if necessary. Also, if you need urgent assistance, please write to support@boinx.com. All right, let's see what we have there. SecMedia NL, very helpful and great function. Thank you very much. All right, Cristobal Ugarte, hello. When you update the app to change the view of the live and big? So one of the most common feature requests right now is that if you're using an iOS device, you want to be able to have the return feed be bigger than the camera view. So a feature that's available in the web client is that you can actually switch the big view and the small view from the return feed and your own view, and switch around doing this. And the iOS app doesn't do that right now. We're currently working on an update to the web client, which hopefully will also work on iOS devices. And then you will be able to have more control over this. Okay, some more general comments is Dan Grizzle. Danny, hi, it's good to see you, and thanks for joining the stream. Speaking of social integrations, I'd like to see additional training. I need to get social going on my own live streams. There is a lot of documentation, which is a bit outdated because the social media platforms change so fast. We hope we can update that soon, and also we are thinking about some training, so just stay tuned. And also Danny has another question: is the latest Mac Mini good for mimoLive? I'm actually using one, and I have upgraded it with a very low-end eGPU from Sonnet, the EGFX PUC, which was about, I think, $300 is the price currently. And that helps a lot because the graphics card in the Mac Mini is really not very powerful. Before I upgraded the graphics card, I had to use only, I could only use one full HD monitor on my Mac during mimoLive because the graphics card wasn't able to power the big screens and multiple screens and a 4K screen and these things, and do all the processing at the same time. So since I've upgraded to my eGPU, I can use my ultra-wide screen and have a third screen attached, and still can use everything here fine and well. Okay, it would be nice to have Joan Labor. It would be nice to have Mimo Call as an option on Android devices. You can use the Mimo Call web client in a Chrome browser on an Android device, so you should be able to use that. Okay.
Just copy the invitation link from the Mimo Call source and send it off to someone who's using an Android phone, and they will open the invitation link, and it should just run in the browser there.
All right. Good. So I think before we go to more questions, just one more comment that I like. Cristobal, thanks. mimoLive is the best of all. Thank you very much. That's what we like to hear. Before we go answer more questions, we have some more features to show you, so we can just go on and see the next feature, Achim. Mimo Caller The next feature is also concerning Mimo call, and one thing it's only a small change, but enables another whole new way of working with mimoLive, is that you can now specify the audio mix that a caller hears, and I think Achim can give us a quick look at that.
Sure, I can try. Also, again, this is my two computer, two Mimo call setup. And you probably noticed that in the Mimo call source, you can specify the partner Cs. So we can switch and select a certain video source to be sent to the Mimo call client.
That's very useful. You can, for example, just to tell people what you can do, you could, for example, instead of the program out, you could just send the video of the host back, so people aren't confused by what the program out produces.
Correct. And now we added a new feature, the partner hears, and you can select different audio mixes and create from your audio mix panel. So you can create one and select it here and set up it like, for example, to mute certain audios you don't want the Mimo call client to hear.
All right, thank you.
On the on the other side, actually,
more there.
if we stop that for a second, this is a similar option. The Mimo call output destination also has a video and audio selection as well. So you can select different video sources or a different audio mix if you need to.
That's awesome. All right, good. So we sort of have this back and forth, and so in between features we're showing you, we answer more questions or take more comments. And there's one from Danny. I've seen others run a parallel Zoom session for real-time interaction between remote hosts. What is the latency with Mimo call? So the latency is very low, but it's not good enough, for example, if you have multiple Mimo calls, to actually have those people sing together. You can have a panel discussion with multiple callers at the same time, and that's no problem. That's all. The experience is very similar to Zoom, but with more, you have more creative control over how the video is presented with the various people. You can have 2-up, 3-up, 4-up talking heads like the CNN, where they have the experts panel discussing stuff, and then you can focus on one person, like I can hear with Achim or with myself. This is something you can't easily do with Zoom. So in Zoom, Zoom always sends you a video, and you have very little control over what's happening in that video. So so in that sense, having multiple Mimo calls, and we had one customer tell us that they used a top-of-the-line iMac Pro, I think, with 18 Mimo calls at the same time. So there's quite a number of things you can do there, and it's very interactive. All right, let's see. All right. Let's see if we have more questions that are. Emmanuel James Shalom on Facebook asks, can we now zoom input on mimoLive? Yes, you can zoom. You can input zoom into mimoLive, and we're gonna show you a little bit about that later on. So Okay, Carlos Phoenix, any chance Mimo reporter to Facebook? No. And the answer is that is very simple. The Facebook terms of service don't allow us to create a mobile app that streams directly to Facebook. It's very simple. There's
However,
a workaround.
You can use
There's a workaround which is the same as if you use mimoLive without Facebook API. Let's just look it up in the docs. So, all right. Alistair Leith, mimoLive is amazing software, I should add. Thank you very much. Andrew William Goebel, are there any plans to be able to use an Rtmp feed for a source? I think there is a plan, but Achim does not agree. So it's on our list. It's on our list. We recently added RTSP, so that's very similar to Rtmp. But there's other things that are more important right now. So as a workaround, yes. Do you want to tell the workaround? Go ahead. No. Let's do that. Let's do that. You talk about.
The workaround is that there is a software you can have in between, which transfers the Rtmp feed to an NDI, I guess, and we can incorporate in the NDI signal in mimoLive.
Yeah, so that's one way to do that. Ben Modal asks, is version 5.8 okay with High Sierra? Must Catalina be used? Achim, that's more a question for you. Is 5.8 compatible with High Sierra?
Oh, sure. It should be no problem to run it on High Sierra.
All right. So Andrew William Goebel asks a follow-up question about the Rtmp. The name of the application is Garanin's Rtmp mini server, I think. All right. Okay. Mojave, Ben Modal asks, is it also compatible with Mojave? I think so. The Mojave is 10.14, right? So yeah. High Sierra is 10.13. Yeah. Only in 10.13.
It should work. However, I highly recommend to get the latest releases of Apple macOS.
All right.
Because not only we fix bugs for the newest Mac operating systems, but also Apple fixes bugs in their operating system on technology we are based on. So, it's a give and take, and always a good idea to keep up with the versions.
All right, good. Danny Grizzle asks, any comment on upcoming Apple Silicon Macs? We can't comment on that other than we tried it and it seemed to work. So there's currently we are very hopeful that it will work. And also, if it doesn't, we will do our best to make it work, of course. So, so that's the thing. Okay, yeah, we always love to hear how you use mimoLive. Paulo, thank you for sharing this. I'm producing a video show how we use mimoLive in our studio. Right now we have 3 machines running mimoLive to control the screen monitor in studio, and one receives all the others as a master switcher. That is amazing. Exactly what we've made mimoLive for. All right, so yeah, we had some questions, and if I look at my script, we are actually at the part where we talk about mimoLive in Zoom, and we have some new feature in mimoLive 5.8, which makes it much easier to interface with Zoom, and it always was easy to send video and audio from mimoLive to Zoom with the virtual camera feature. There was some hiccup on the way with Zoom suddenly not allowing virtual cameras anymore, but that has been resolved for a while now, so we're all good again with the current version of Zoom. mimoLive works well. If you want to spice up your presentation, send your video to Zoom, including audio stingers like applause, like hecklers or memes or videos you pre-recorded or anything that is difficult to get into Zoom any other way. And now we have we've added a feature to the virtual camera which allows you to select an audio mix. And why is that important? It's important because if you want to get the audio and video from Zoom back into mimoLive, you're basically creating a feedback loop. So the audio, once you put it in, the audio from mimoLive into from Zoom into mimoLive and send it back to Zoom, people will hear an echo. To remove that echo, you have to remove the Zoom audio from the audio mix. Achim, I don't think we can show that. Can we show it? Can we show that? Did you prepare anything, or should we refer people to? Yeah.
I'm sorry,
okay.
I didn't prepare that.
Okay, no problem. So to get audio from Zoom into mimoLive, you have to use an application called Loopback from a company called Rtmp, and they make excellent audio processing software, and it's not so expensive. So I highly recommend to get the bundle with everything they make, because if you're serious about video and audio on the Mac, sooner or later you'll need it. So it allows you to basically use any audio from any application and use it in any other application. So if you have Zoom, then you set up a virtual audio device that allows you to send the audio from Zoom into mimoLive. And for capturing the video, you can use a window capture source or screen capture source. We always recommend the screen capture source because of the performance advantage that has, and capture the video this way. Another way would be to have a second computer set up and use that video signal and audio signal from that computer into mimoLive. And then you have to also send audio and video back to the computer, but that's another story. So this is sounds very complicated, and it is sort of complicated. So I'm currently working on a document, a step-by-step document to describe all the things you can do with Zoom, and how you can work with Zoom for mimoLive, and that should be available soon from our docs.mimolive.com. Docs.mimo.live is the URL for our currently right now for our online documentation, and also we're gonna post it, of course, on our social media channels, and let you guys know about it in the next live stream or the stream when it's available. All right, so new in mimoLive for Zoom is the ability to select an output video, an output audio mix where you can set up a mix minus for Zoom, so you don't send Zoom audio back to Zoom, which you need for avoiding an echo. So that's the feature, the next feature, and I think we switch back to some Q&A, because I see an interesting comment from Glenn Charles Lopez through the NDI scan converter app. Yes, you can also use that to get Zoom into mimoLive and back, that also works quite well. Johan Lobua, you should give the app more promotion because without a doubt it is the best. It is very practical to handle. That's very nice to hear from you. Thank you very much. And we're doing our best to promote it. So if you'd like to help, we always grateful if you post about it and tell your friends. Okay, we got more people telling us how they use mimoLive, and that's cool. Here, Sec Media NL. I used the NDI output to stream to GoPros. Walked around with my iPad to check if the shot could switch between the two via remote. Was a great way to check out the two GoPros while building up the setup. Amazing, amazing. If you can, please send us a link on how the GoPros, how you connected the GoPros to mimoLive. Glenn Charles Lopez, do we still need Soundflower loopback to capture the audio from Zoom? Yes, you need that. I think I've addressed that. Soundflower is actually another way to do this, but it's much more complicated to set up, and loopback is really much easier. So if you're doing professional work in that area, I recommend you not use Soundflower, but use loopback, because that's really the way to go. Okay. All right, the answer here: connected the GoPros directly via HDMI to my local machine using Elgato HD 50S Plus. That's very nice to know. Okay. Okay. So Paulo, you can use the LaudioCast. It's free and works nice. I have never heard of this, and I will check it definitely out after this stream and see what it does. Okay. Danny Grizzle, we've just set up a Holyland HDMI wireless camera into mimoLive, an HDMI wireless camera. That sounds very interesting. I need to check that out. If you can post the, please post the link to that. All right, good. Many questions. I love it. Thank you guys for keeping the questions coming. Carlos Phoenix, any possibilities of mimoLive going to iPad? Let's see. So right now, iPad is a very great platform, but it doesn't really take off, and so we are not sure if that is a good way to go, but we already have some first steps with the mimoLive Reporter app, which allows you to at least use one camera and add all the lower thirds you want to this. Steffen posted this, which is also a nice information for you. We've created a new Facebook group, and if you want to show your support for the product and learn about its many things it can do and share ideas amongst each others, please join. All right. Oh, more things to show. We've almost filled an hour, but we still have a couple of things to show. Next up is the Ptc Controller Layer. Achim, what's new there?
Yes, actually it was available already, but we added a new feature that helps to automate things. So I'm just showing quickly.
And we added it for NDI, Achim, right? So this is the NDI.
That's one
it wasn't working for NDI. It was available for specific vendors, but not for NDI. But now it works with any NDI camera.
So let's see. So I have the Ptc controller layer here, And currently I have a PTC optics camera, which is NDI enabled, and I can drag and drop this source to my controller layer. And now you can see I can, by clicking, or I need to switch it live, the controller layer, and then I'm able to click and drag and move my camera around, or even zoom in and zoom out. And also there are the recall buttons. So this is currently totally controlled via NDI. So any NDI PTC camera should work with this. And for automation, we actually added this feature here, the option on live. So when this layer is switched on live, we can have the action recall position 1 or recall position 2. So what does this mean? Maybe I in position 2, and once I switch this PTC controller layer live, it will automatically drive the camera to position 1 because I said so. And for automation, it makes a lot of sense to have variants, for example, for different positions. So in this case, the variant 1 has set up the recall position 1 action, and once I switch to the second variant, I will switch this one to recall position 2. And now I can select a different variant, and it will automatically jump to that position of the camera setting. So this, of course, can be stored in layer sets. And when I set this up, I would switch off, for example, the place. I don't need that. I want to make the PTC controller layer live with variant 1, and have a second layer set, also configuring this, switching this off, and have switched on the layer variant 2 of that layer. And now if I recall the layer set 2, it will move the camera to position 2, and of course, if I select the first one, it will activate variant 1, and this will recall position 1. And so with the layer sets, you can switch on multiple layers at the same time and have all fancy layouts, of course. And that helps for automation.
All right. All right. I'm trying to fiddle around with the audio a little bit because I'm clipping, and Achim is too low. So I hope we can fix that. Paulo asks how to set up the positions. Can you just quickly show that, Achim?
Sure. So the camera actually stores the position itself in its device. So I can, from my PTC controller layer, I can drag and move the camera to a different position. Let's say my chest or something like that. Zoom in a bit. And now the layer itself has the storage function. So you can save this as a preset 3. And this is just a command to the camera itself. It stores the position in the device. So if you reset it, it will remember that. And now we can recall position 1, recall position 2, and also recall position 3. So also you can have the pan tilt and zoom option here. If the camera supports PTC, then this section will pop up, and you can find this setup here. You choose how many positions you want to control, and also there are the save and recall buttons. You can rename them. Let's say this is pool face and close up. So those values are shown actually in the multi-view. So if we control that source in the multi-view, you can see the 3 buttons are showing up here, and I can click on them and the camera will move to full, to my face, and to the close-up we just programmed. And also there is the pan, tilt, and zoom operation available from here directly to the camera. I hope this answers the question.
Yeah, I think it does. All right, we do have some comments in the that we can answer. Alistair, there is a new live stream tomorrow for Asia, so you can go to bed. Have a nice night. Before you go, which Sonnet eGPU? I saw the same question from Danny Grizzle as well. So I'm using the EGFX puck from Sonnet, the smaller one. So there's a 550 and a 560, or 560 and a 570. I forget the smaller one. But basically any eGPU will do fine, and the bigger one you can afford, the better it is. So you can get an external enclosure and buy a Radeon 5700 XT, and that will give you a lot of processing power, and that's a good idea. If you have the money, because that's about I think a little more than $1,000 extra for the enclosure and the card. So but the $300 EGFX puck helped me a lot, so I'm very happy that I did that. Also, I'm trying to keep the hardware as low as possible so we can see what we can do with a few hardware as possible. So for a couple of months ago, at the beginning of the COVID crisis, I decided I wanted to build a Hackintosh, and I got an i9 processor, and a Radeon 5700 graphics card, and some RAM and so on and so forth. So I spent about 2,300 euros, which should be like $2,500 US or something, on the hardware. I assembled everything, and then it took me about 3 days to figure out that I wasn't happy with a machine that behaved strangely differently every time I restarted it. So I gave it to someone who has much more time on their hands than I have, and he spent about 4 weeks or 3 or 4 weeks to fine-tune it, and now he's very happy with it and runs very fast, and so on and so forth. And then Apple announced the iMac, the new iMac, which has a 10-core i9, a Radeon 5700 XT, and comes in at about 4,600 euros, and that's a lot. That sounds like a lot more, but if you take into account the 27-inch 5K monitor that if you purchase it separately from Amazon is 1,300 euros by itself, it turns out that the price difference is only about 14%, and that's not worth my time and money. So if you are looking for buying a new machine, For mimoLive, I think the best value for money right now is the new iMac 27-inch. If you don't have to travel around, if you can use it stationary in the studio, or even if you have to travel around, you have a car or something, you can take this on. That is a very, very nice machine, and it has 10 CPU cores and a very, very powerful graphics card with a lot of video RAM. All right, okay, so I think we are about an hour through, and there's lots of questions. Achim, do we want to go on the automation stuff, or still stuff to show, or do we postpone it to the next live stream? I think we should just do another live stream in the future. Just mention this right now for mimoLive 5.8. Achim has done a lot of work with the automation layer, and one of the things that does quite well is it allows you to create amazing things like stinger transitions, and Achim has prepared a demo of that, but do we want to just give a sneak preview without explanation, just show how it works, or is...
Oh, I think I can show it real quickly. So
okay, so let's just quickly go through that.
Sure. Let's see if I can pull this off real quickly. So in 5.8 we extended the automation layer a lot. So let's just have a camera here. The automation layer, here we go. And for the demo, the default script here is just switching on and off the placer layer 4 times. So if you want to, you can just check this out with the blank document, and you see it's totally automated. It switches on and off the placer layer. So that's to get you started. And here is a list of all the available commands. If you are curious, you can click on that question mark and find the documentation online for all the commands. There's a lot of things to learn. And one idea at the bottom, we have some ideas. There is run a stinger before you switch to a certain layer. So I just want to show you quickly how that works. For example, I want to switch from my face to any video source I have. Let's say just have the test video output layer, and that should overlay my face. And as you can see, this is rather boring. I want to have a stinger running in front of that, and I came up with a neat way to create one inside mimoLive with the lower third. The lower third is very rich in its features, and so we can modify it to be a stinger. To do so, I want to cover the complete screen. I remove the text. I don't need this. I want it only to show a short time of 1 second, for example. The incoming could be left to right. The text can be pushed, and the output can be white left to right. No text delay, and have some nice gradient. Just get some colors here quickly. It's gray, and make this totally opaque with a dark gray. And now I place the local full screen to just have something around here. Oh, that looks nice. So I just run it and see how it looks like the stinger. That's pretty quick. And now I want to have that run automatically. So after the stinger, the video should be shown here. So my code, I will code it actually in text edit. So that's much easier because I have more place to code. And what I want to do is I want to start the stinger. So the command is layer on to switch the layer on. And I need to give it a ID, and the ID I can get from the user interface by clicking, right-clicking or control-clicking on the layer itself. And I get a context menu, and at the bottom there is copy layers API endpoint to clipboard. So this API endpoint is used to identify the layer by the script, and I paste it into my script here, and yeah, that will switch on my stinger layer. Now I need the script to sleep for half a second, because this is the time the stinger needs to cover the screen completely. And after that I will switch on layer on, I will switch on the video test layer here. Again, I will right click or control click on the layer, copy layers endpoint to the clipboard, and put it into the brackets here. So that's actually the complete script. I will select everything, copy it, and put it in my animation layer, automation layer. First of all, I will remove everything and paste the new script here. So actually it says script is okay. So at least it can be run. And now let's see how it works out. I start the automation layer, and it should start the lower third as a stinger. And after that, it should show the video. Here we go. And that's how the stinger works. And now I want to go back. And for that, I can easily duplicate this variant of the automation layer. Have a second variant. Let's rename them. This is on and this is off, for example, so I can distinguish both. And in the off layer, I will switch off the second layer, the video layer. So I just change layer on to layer off. This will switch off the layer, the video output test layer. Again, I copy all the text, all the script, and put it in, make sure I'm in the off variant, remove the script again, and place a new one with off keyword here, the off command. So now I can bring in my stinger. It will switch off the video output layer and show my face again. So I can have my stinger running with automation in mimoLive.
All right, good. Great stuff. The automation layer, of course, has been updated to have, what does it all have now, Achim, in 5.8?
Oh, there is if clause, there is loop, there is
Didn't you also implement like variables and stuff?
yes, that's very important. So the often you need the API endpoints. You need more often in your script and in your layer stack, so you can set them to variables, and then the variables are much easier to read in your script itself. So the The default script of the automation layer will show how that works. And also the variables can be set to be global. So multiple automation layers can depend on those variables. Yeah, you can test layers for certain values, also input values and output values. So there's a lot of things to see and to learn. Basically,
right.
it's a scripting language.
Oh, this is amazing. Polo says we do this manual with some alpha bumpers. The operator will thank you guys a lot. Yeah, that's okay. All right. So yeah, I see a lot of. If I look at my face, I see a lot of tired eyes. So I think we should call it a day for today. I think we've covered everything important in the comments and in the chat. If we forgot something, please go to forum.boinx.com and contact us there, or join the new Facebook group, and we'll see. We'll figure it out. So all right, so just to wrap it up, mimoLive 5.8. Achim, thank you for all the cool demos. We have the main feature of mimoLive 5.8 is the ability to use another mimoLive as a Mimo call client, so you can tunnel NDI through the internet, and SDI through the internet and what have you. You can have multiple remote production sites and then concentrate everything in a central production system, which is a game changer. Achim showed you how to set it up and the features you have to monitor it. We have also talked briefly about improvements to the Mimo call on the source side, where you can now specify an audio mix to send back to the caller. You can specify what the caller hears. We've briefly talked about mimoLive in Zoom, where a new feature of the virtual camera is that you are able to select a audio mix, outgoing audio mix, which makes it easier to interface with Zoom. We showed you the Ptc Controller Layer, which enables NDI-based Ptc camera to control NDI-based Ptc cameras in a more automated way by turning off and on the layers. You saw the automation layer. You can combine those to do a stinger transition while the camera moves, for example, something like that. And we talked about the new features of the automation layer just very briefly and showed you how to make a stinger transition. And tomorrow, in about 10 hours or so, we'll do a rerun of this for the Asian Eastern time zones. So if you'd like to join us again, if you already saw this one, feel free to do that. We are gonna go into the comments and see if we missed anything important. Danny, I like the discussion about the various computers, the Macs, and the pros and cons on that. I see the point about the iMac only having 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports. I didn't know that, but I recommend to get an external PCI extender box and use PCI cards anyways, instead of having a lot of Thunderbolt 3 devices attached to your computer. So maybe you can take a look into that. There's extender boxes that have up to 3 PCI slots, and also can so that I think would be a good solution for the iMac to do a lot of SDI in and output. All right. Yeah, thank you for everyone for watching. Achim, thank you for all the demos and the explanations, and see you guys either tomorrow or in the forum or in the new Facebook group, or next time we have a live stream. We try to get them closer together and make more of them. But you know how it is. Time flies, and before you know it, it's another month, and we don't have new stuff to tell. And we'll also only do those if we have new things to say. Maybe we do some. The next one, we do some some on automation. And thank you for joining again, and see you in a bit. Achim and everybody, have a
See you.
nice evening, have a
Bye
nice
bye.
day. Goodbye.